Monday, June 20th, Jacob settles in Egypt. It's very interesting how, despite all that Jacob had been told about Joseph's being alive in Egypt, the Lord still gave him visions of the night, and in them commanded him to leave. Jacob leaves the land of promise for, of all places, Egypt, which later becomes associated with the one place that God's people do not want to go. Deuteronomy 17:16. Read Genesis 47. What spiritual truths and principles can we find in this account? From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 233, it says, Joseph took 5 of his brothers to present to Pharaoh and receive from him the grant of land for the future home. Gratitude to his prime minister would have led the monarch to honor them with appointments of offices of state. But Joseph, true to the worship of Jehovah, sought to save his brothers from the temptations to which they would be exposed at a heathen court. Therefore, he counseled them, when questioned by the king, to tell him frankly their occupation. The sons of Jacob followed this counsel, being careful also to state that they had come to sojourn in the land, not to become permanent dwellers there, thus reserving the right to depart if they chose. The king assigned them a home, as offered in the best of the land, the country of Goshen. Wisely, too, Pharaoh does not encourage these sojourners to become beggars, living off the largesse of their host. He inquires about their occupation, in order that they may adjust better in their new environment. He also is eager to use their expertise and even suggests that they serve him as chief herdsmen over his livestock. Then, although Jacob, the foreigner, is the inferior, the stranger, he stands before the leader of the land, and, as the text says, Jacob blessed Pharaoh. He, the lowly stranger, is the one who blesses Pharaoh, the ruler of mighty Egypt. Why should that be? The verb set before, in Genesis 47:7, is normally used in priestly contexts, Leviticus 14:11. Considering that in ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh had the status of the highest priest, this means that, in a spiritual sense, Jacob stands higher than the highest priest of Egypt, higher even than Pharaoh himself. Whatever our station in life, what should it mean to us and how we treat others? That we are a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, 1 Peter 2:9. What obligations does our faith put on us? From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 233, it says, Not long after their arrival, Joseph brought his father also to be presented to the king. The patriarch was a stranger in royal courts, but amid the sublime scenes of nature, he had communed with a mightier monarch, and now, in conscious superiority, he raised his hands and blessed Pharaoh. In his first greeting to Joseph, Jacob had spoken as if with this joyful ending to his long anxiety and sorrow, he was ready to die. But 17 years were yet to be granted him in the peaceful retirement of Goshen. These years were in happy contrast to those that had preceded him. He saw in his sons evidence of true repentance. He saw his family surrounded by all the conditions needful for the development of a great nation, and his faith grasped the sure promise of their future establishment in Canaan. He himself was surrounded with every token of love and favor that the prime minister of Egypt could bestow. happy in the society of his long-lost son, he passed down gently and peacefully to the grave. From the book The Ministry of Healing, page 494 and 5, it says, "The continuity of Christian influence is the secret of its power, and this depends on the steadfastness of your manifestation of the character of Christ. Help those who have erred by telling them of your experiences. Show how, when you made grave mistakes, patience, kindness, and helpfulness on the part of your fellow workers gave you courage and hope. Until the judgment, you will never know the influence of a kind, considerate course toward the inconsistent, the unreasonable, and the unworthy. When we meet with ingratitude and betrayal of sacred trust, we are roused to show our contempt or indignation. This the guilty expect. They are prepared for it. But kind forbearance takes them by surprise and often awakens their better impulses and arouses a longing for a nobler life." That was from the Ministry of Healing, page 494 and 5. God bless.